Thank you. I was told there was no pressure today, but, you know, thank you so much. For those that don't know me, I used to be a speaker and writer in the Norwegian media. I used to hold talks and debates on racism and discrimination. I was always the first one to put my hand up, the first one to ask the questions, and the first one to argue aggressively. From my accent, you can tell I come from Scotland, which means that we do not give up. If anybody's seen Braveheart, they will know what I'm talking about. But I also have the Pakistani background as well, so you've got that mix, which is really bad. So what we have here is me in a panel discussion in Christian Sandwich discussing terrorism. That was also one of the subjects I take up, which was racism, discrimination, Islamophobia, and just general injustices and freedom of speech. As you can tell, I don't look very happy. And the next picture, it looks even worse. There. We're actually having a discussion here, believe it or not. And this is the editor of Jyllandsposten. We're in a discussion. We don't seem to be succeeding. And we're just bogged down in our own categories, which is based on gender, sexuality, ethnicity, nationality, disabilities probably too, and religion and class. I think that these categories were actually, they're man-made categories. This is what was actually preventing us from having a proper discussion and being able to meet each other and with respect and understanding and try and understand where we stood with each other. I thought shouting and screaming and labeling my opponents would actually encourage an open discussion. In fact, everybody left the table both with high blood pressure and extremely frustrated and just not wanting to meet each other again after that. Something changed. And I think that it's a turning point for probably most of us, which is the 22nd of July attacks, 2011. This is probably one of the most, actually it was actually the day that changed my whole outlook on everything regarding what I had believed in. I was standing outside Domkirke, which is the cathedral in Oslo, and there was some girls gathered together, different nationalities. There was a couple of Norwegian, Vietnamese, Norwegian, Philippine, ethnic Norwegians, and a girl gets a phone call. Mona's dead. She cries, she falls to the floor, and I see this happening, these 17, 18-year-olds crying in a heap. Different colors, different, you know, ethnic backgrounds, religious backgrounds, and they're hugging each other, and one of the girls just falls and she faints several times. I have to hold her face, breathe, I say to her, Anna, breathe. I don't even know this girl. Just that scene there in itself actually had such a profound effect on my viewpoint. It's not that I didn't realize that we didn't live in a multicultural society. I was very much aware of it. But the effects, the ripple effect of the 22nd of July effects, of the 22nd of July attacks, I mean, the bloodbath was on the island, it was at the government building, but the bleeding hearts, the battlefield of bleeding hearts, was outside the church. And that was in the hearts of every single teenager who had lost a friend and who had also seen some of the attacks on TV as well. I had stopped writing. I decided I didn't want to be part of the debates anymore. I wanted to do something else. I wanted to try and create a change. I wanted to show the city as it is. And there was a friend of mine that showed me this. Well, this was actually, I showed yous, but she showed me this, which was Humans of New York. If you know what this is, it's actually started by Brandon Stanton. We just went around, took pictures of people in New York, and with kind of like one-liners or maybe even longer stories. This here opened the door for me because I realized I'm already taking pictures of buildings in the city. Why not just take pictures of people too? And I decided, okay, that's it. This is exactly what I'm going to do. And I started to walk around the city and interview total strangers, asking them about their lives. One problem was that I was actually stopping people that looked similar to me. I was still using the exact same categories that I had been using earlier in debates and in panel discussions and in my articles. I decided that if I wanted to make a change, I had to start with myself first. And that was to get rid of my inhibitions, get rid of my fear, be more open, and actually let go of my ego. That is actually number one. The biggest problem that I had when I was in my previous panel discussions and debates, holding talks at universities and colleges, was that I clung to my ego and this truth that I had. So I wanted to find out who are the people of Oslo, and to do that, I had to let go of these categories. I would like, capture a picture of a mother and a child, which was something that I could recognize. I don't know about Justin Bieber fans, but definitely that connection was important as well. And then I decided there was one day, I see this girl, Tifa, and the first thing I feel is fear. I'm terrified of her. What am I going to do with this? And I go past her, and then I come back again, and I actually chase her down the street. She's got heels which are like that high. And I'm trying to run after her. And I start asking her questions. Her story is that she wants to become a florist. She wants to work with flowers. And she's got the sweetest voice. She wasn't dangerous at all. And I tried to give her a hug, and I almost got stabbed in the neck with all these, and just that, Tifa opened a door for me, and that was that to do this project, to be able to take pictures of people in the city, I had to be completely open. And I think I actually succeeded. I met this guy here, and it was something about talking to each and every single person. I learned something new, and that was that even though we had different interests, we had maybe different skin color, different age, there was something in common, and that was that we all knew vulnerability, we knew fear, we shared our experiences of being terrified of different things, or being sad, or being lonely, or losing a parent, or losing a child. There was something there that I thought that, isn't this what we should actually be focusing on? Should we not be focusing more on the issues that unite us, our common ground? These kids here, they actually hang out at the central station. Many people see them as lepers in society, that they're troublemakers. Who wants to have contact with them? And some of my friends were saying, don't talk to them, they're really scary people. And when I started talking to them, I used 2 days. I was so amazed. The thing that I had in common with these kids between the age of 16 and 22 was that every single one of them had been bullied at school. And that's why they hung out there. They had, different colored hair. Some of them would have, this cyber goth look. And that was what was uniting us. That was the beauty of it. And they actually reached out, beautiful human beings that we do not acknowledge because of our own fears, because of our own ego, because of the fact we don't let go. This one here as well was, I was a bit terrified to actually go over to this father with his child. And I thought, okay, I could hear him talking to his daughter, and he was telling her how beautiful she was. He was massaging her back. You're beautiful, my daughter. You're just like the same as any of my other daughters. Look at this, look at that. And when I sat down and started talking to him, he opened himself and said that this is my daughter. She's just as equal as any other of my children. Now, I did not mention his ethnicity in the article that I wrote, Humans of Oslo, the page that I run. I just mentioned his story, and it was amazing. The number of hundreds of likes, just that story alone received was amazing. I'm so sure if I had mentioned his ethnicity, his religion, that the reactions would have been very, very different. In fact, this picture here in itself, and the story in itself, tells a story that we can all recognize, which is that our love for our children, or our love for our parent, that care, that tenderness, that we sometimes forget to appreciate. I don't know who this guy is, but Berit as well, she's somebody that I met by chance. A woman at, the best part of Oslo. Talking to her, we were arm in arm walking down the street, sharing stories. And people were giving us weird looks. But I didn't see this. All I saw was her. This was the fire brigade. Amazing people that were telling me their stories about 22nd of July, which was extremely touching, which took me several days to get over. And I'll just flip through this because my time is running out. It's just about tenderness, not forgetting about, our stereotypes, the things that we forget about, and to just open ourselves, not to limit ourselves in our beliefs, I would just say basically open yourself. We've got absolutely nothing to fear, and what we do hold on to with our ego is actually preventing an open communication and spreading that, I would say love, it sounds like awfully cliche, but that's exactly what Humans of Oslo is. I mean, I've changed completely my whole viewpoint on how I see people. I don't see color, I don't see ethnicity, I actually see opportunities and connections and the possibility for growth. Thank you so much for having me here.